Time now 5 a.m. Good Monday morning. WJBF Live Viper 6. We've got dry skies this morning, a lot of cloud cover and cool temperatures out there. You're watching WJBF News Channel 6, where you'll always get your most accurate forecast first. Cloudy skies through the day. That's going to keep us very cool for today. By 4 p.m. high right around 60.
Right now on Good Morning Augusta, new information on a security audit at Augusta's Youth Development Campus.
Also, new information on safety at a local elementary school, the results of an environmental study at Terrace Manor.
And the latest on the situation in the Middle East. Tensions are rising. Good Morning Augusta starts right now.
Live from Television Park in high definition, the station you count on. This is WJBF News Channel 6. Good morning, Augusta.
Good morning, I'm Mary Morrison. It is Monday, the 19th of November.
And I'm Chris Kane. Hope you had a great weekend. It kind of went by quickly for us.
It did just fly on by this weekend. I'm Ed Bloodsworth, and we've got a very busy week ahead. I think busy may be a bit of an understatement.
Yeah.
The holidays, we got some events going on, Black Friday.
Yeah.
So the forecast is very, very important this week, and we're going to check that out in a few minutes.
Look forward to that, Ed. Thanks a lot. We begin this morning with a newly released audit from the Department of Juvenile Justice concerning security at Augusta's Youth Development Campus. Now, the audit was conducted 2 months before 5 inmates escaped that facility, and the new DJJ commissioner says the results are unacceptable. For the latest, we go to Jillian Benfield for this morning's big story.
That concerns me. I mean, it really concerns me.
Monica Kofer has lived in her South Augusta home for more than 20 years. She says lately she hasn't felt as safe as she used to. The Augusta Youth Development Campus is just down the road from her house. She says the fact that 5 inmates escaped in October doesn't help. Now, this makes her feel even worse. An audit conducted less than 2 months before the escape finds multiple failures in YDC officials' efforts to maintain the facility. Many of those deficiencies have to do with security.
It just gives me an uneasy feeling, to know that they're not where they should be.
YDC officials failed to hold monthly emergency drills. The Augusta YDC is required to have an emergency planner, but does not have one. They are also required to have a cooperative agreement with local emergency agencies, but have no such agreement. When the inmates escaped in October, it took nearly 2 hours for YDC officials to even contact local police.
There seems to be a danger, there's a risk, I think, to our well-being here at this in this area, to just our safety.
The list of what the department calls deficiencies continues. Augusta YDC officials failed to perform weekly inspections of the facility, including the outside grounds. Sources tell us the inmates escaped while they were outside using a garden hose that was left out to climb over the fence. Also, inmate-on-inmate assaults were much higher than the acceptable level. A year ago, an inmate murdered Jade Holder inside the facility, which sparked several investigations, led to dozens of firings, and a new director who was disciplined for this escape and has since resigned.
And that was Jillian Benfield reporting this morning. DJJ officials say they are working on several areas of improvement. For a complete look at that audit and a list of improvements they're working on, go to WJBF.com.
And now this morning, one local Georgia state lawmaker is reacting to that audit. State Representative Quincy Murphy says lawmakers are looking for new solutions to this problem. And he says in his eyes, it all starts with getting and keeping qualified guards.
I understand that the turnover is really very strong there. I understand that the persons that they've been able to attract and employ haven't really been seasoned in terms of their prior experience in securing inmates. So, we got to look at a lot of things.
Representative Murphy says the General Assembly will talk more about this during the 2013 legislative session.
This morning, the South Carolina Highway Patrol is investigating a deadly accident in Barnwell County. Details are still sketchy, but a spokesperson says the accident occurred along Highway 3. News Channel 6 will continue to track this story for you and update you as we get new information.
The News Channel 6 school report has an update on the situation at Terrace Manor Elementary School in Augusta. Results are in from an environmental test at the school. Results from a November 7th Health Department audit says Richmond County schools took, quote, the proper action in handling any mold issues at the school. Another report from an environmental firm shows there is no evidence of mold on surfaces inside the school, but former principal Hartley Gibbons says those reports do not tell the whole story.
You can have any kind of survey and test. Tests only prove what you want them to prove. The reality and the proof in the pudding is the real deal. Every day I have teachers getting sick.
Gibbons retired voluntarily last week after he was placed on leave following an outburst over the issue at last week's Board of Education meeting. A second environmental firm also did a test at the school. Those results are not back yet, but when they are, we'll let you know.
Well, James Brown may be gone, but his legacy lives on today with the annual James Brown Turkey Giveaway. That event is later this morning at 9 a.m. at Augusta Park. Now, you need to have registered in advance and you need to have an ID to pick up your turkey. Members of the Brown family will help hand out those holiday birds. 6 after the hour, time for your weather on the 6s. Let's go to our very own Ed Bloodsworth in the Severe Weather Center. Ed.
Yeah, good morning, Mary. Good morning, Chris. Coming off of a pretty decent weekend, although yesterday we had a lot of cloud cover for the area, and that kept our temperatures cool. And overall for this Monday, we're expecting a very similar day to what we had yesterday. Take a look at the current numbers out there in the CSRA. We've got generally low 50s, everyone between about 51. That's the cool spot in Thompson, to around 54, 55 degrees this morning. We've got cloudy skies, an area of low pressure spiraling out over the Atlantic, giving us cool north breezes and also those very cloudy skies. That's going to continue through the day ahead. So here's a look at the commuter forecast as you head out on this Monday morning. Temperature of 50 with that chilly breeze. That will continue through much of the day, feeling very much like fall. And those scattered clouds continue as we go right into the afternoon as well. 60 degrees by the time you head home from work later on today. It looks like we'll stay dry in the work week ahead. Also a warm up coming our way as we approach your Thanksgiving. Guys, we're going to break it all down for you in just a few minutes.
Looking forward to that. Thanks, Ed.
She was headed for stardom on the LPGA Tour, but she couldn't beat a rare condition.
Now she's back on track and looking to make up for some lost time. Details in our News Channel 6 Extra coming up.
Plus, a look at rising tensions in the Middle East. Things may get worse before they get better. The latest on the situation there in our look around the world.
Welcome back, everyone. It's now 10:05 past the hour. You know, in the mid-90s, Nicole Jaray's professional golf career was just starting to take off.
Making birdies wasn't a problem for the Augusta resident, but trying to stay awake for an entire round, now that was pure torture. Nicole's story, swinging for sleep, is this morning's News Channel 6 Extra.
Overwhelming urge to fall asleep is what I call it. It's so overwhelming. It's a terrible feeling.
For Nicole Jaray, it's a feeling that has stayed with her for more than 2 decades.
Throughout college, I was always falling asleep in my classes, driving the car.
When she turned pro, the drowsiness got worse.
There was many times I would sit in my car and cry because I'm driving, home from my golf tournament and to my housing, and I can't stay awake.
During her second year on the LPGA Tour, Nicole's life changed forever.
So then I went and got a sleep study done. Classic case of narcolepsy. I experienced all 5 symptoms.
Narcolepsy is a serious chronic sleep disorder affecting 1 in 2,000 people. Jerry Jones is the manager of the Center for Sleep Disorders at Doctors Hospital.
Narcolepsy is so incredibly difficult to diagnose. Most of these patients are extremely sleepy during the day. They're always taking naps, and for someone to be on the LPGA Tour like herself and not being able to take those naps, it's amazing that she's even able to golf.
So in 1995, you're 30th on the LPGA Tour money list. Do you ever wonder where your career would be today if not for narcolepsy?
Well, yeah, in 1995 I was doing so well. I mean, I was getting ready to be #1 in the world in my brain, having a great year playing with the best players in the world, and then I'm overwhelming urge to fall asleep all the time, and so it was tough. My caddy would put ice down my back and try to wake me up, and I'd walk backward and run and anything that I could do to try to get me to snap out of it. And when I look back at how I used to play at the highest level on the LPGA Tour, falling down 10, 20 times a day, so tired, you know, taking five naps in one day just to get through the day. I mean, I don't know how I did it.
These days, Nicole spends a lot of her time practicing at Jones Creek Golf Club. With better medication, she's now sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night. Next year, her goal is to play full-time on the LPGA Tour.
I would love to, you know, win an LPGA golf tournament so I can talk more about narcolepsy and people are actually going to listen. Hopefully I'm making a difference in the world of narcolepsy, and I'm still a great role model. I may not be #1 in the world, but I'm still doing what I love, so it's all good.
Next week, Nicole attempts to regain her full-time LPGA Tour playing card when she competes at qualifying school in Daytona, Florida.
Yeah, we wish her the best of luck there, and she is also proud to help improve awareness and funding for narcolepsy through Swinging for Sleep. She raises money with every birdie she makes in a tournament. So far in 2012, Nicole has raised $37,000. Now to donate, go to NicoleGiray.com. She's an inspiration.
She really is, and we hope she can raise some more money this week at Q School. It'd be some story if she could get back on the LPGA Tour.
Sure would.
All right, let's check in with Ed, and he's got a preview of his forecast. Ed?
Yeah, guys, we got some very, very cloudy weather out there. A very gray day ahead for the region, but we've got some improvement coming our way, a warming trend and more sunshine. Live Viper 6 forecast straight ahead.
Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live Viper 6.
Starting off cool this morning under cloudy skies. We got temperatures in the low 50s at both of our reporting stations in Augusta. Now 52 at downtown and 53 out at Augusta Regional. Both stations reporting a light north breeze at about 10 miles per hour. And that will be the common wind as we go through the day. And with mostly cloudy skies, that northerly breeze is certainly going to feel quite chilly later on today. 56 by noon up to around 60 by 4 p.m. Temperatures still way below where they should be for this time of year. By 7 p.m. after sunset, skies remaining partly to mostly cloudy. Those temperatures will be holding right around 52 degrees. And that's right about where we're starting now. 52 for Evans, Martinez, Aiken as well, up to McCormick, South Carolina, 54 Washington. Most everyone within about 3 or 4 degrees of each other. So a fairly uniform spread of temperatures across the CSRA this morning. Fairly clear conditions on the visible. Of course, you're not going to see much on the visible. Sun's not up. But again, very mild weather, and where you have the cloud cover, the satellite and radar actually shows a lot of low clouds over our area, all thanks to an area of low pressure spiraling out over the Atlantic, and that's what's giving us this overall northerly wind flow, keeping us very, very cool as well. A very similar day to yesterday, and that's the overall pattern. That's what's shaping up for today. Also going to keep our eyes on a cold front in the northern plains that will be affecting our area later on this week. But in the short term, we're talking about, again, mostly cloudy skies in the day ahead. Notice our forecast model paints that out. Maybe an isolated sprinkle for portions of Orangeburg, Bamberg County later on today, but not everyone going to see the rain. Mainly dry forecast ahead. But then by tomorrow, we'll note clearing taking place. We'll see just more of a partly cloudy sky with some of these high thin clouds coming in from the west. An overall much better day as we go through Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll see more sunshine rolling our way, and with more sunshine, that's going to mean we start to warm up over the next couple of days as well. So we'll call it 60 for today. North breezes at about 7 to 12 miles per hour. Temperatures still well below where they should be. 45 degrees later on this evening, up to 67 with clouds moving out. An overall much milder day expected on your Tuesday. Now take a look at the next 6 days. Look for afternoon highs to continue to warm up here. 69 by Wednesday, morning low into the low 40s. Then we got a couple of events upcoming at the end of this week. Of course, Thanksgiving there with our little turkey there on Thanksgiving Turkey Day, followed by Black Friday. A lot of folks will be waiting out in lines. It'll be chilly at 40 degrees, high in your 70. And also remember this weekend, we've got the turkey trot upcoming as well. It's going to be cool for our runners out there at 65.
Let me tell you, that is a smart turkey. His head's on a swivel. He's like, all right, just stay away from me.
He is on the lookout.
Let me stay free on Thanksgiving Day, is what he's saying.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have that little turkey, but we also have a version of him where he's actually sitting on a plate. So I know I thought that was a little mean. Poor bird.
That's classic.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Thanksgiving, it's going to be a really busy week leading up to that holiday. So here's a helpful idea. Don't cook today. Have lunch at the Garlic Clove in Columbia County.
Yeah, you know, it's the 11th year for the Italian Thanksgiving feast. Chef Jeff will treat you to a meal of homemade bread, antipasta salad, pasta alfredo, and chicken parmesan.
Enough already. My mouth is already watering, and it's 5:20 in the morning. Now, lunch is going to be served today from 11 until 3. You'll be served by dozens of people you know, including Ed and myself.
And there's no charge for the meal, but your donations will be given to the Golden Harvest Food Bank, Columbia County Cares, and Mosaic UMC, 3 groups that provide food to the needy.
Come on out, 11 to 3. Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun out there.
It will. Well, a bit of a hangover yesterday in the Georgia Dome for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, after a tough loss to the Saints, the Falcons looked to take it out on the Cardinals, but it didn't go all according to plan. Tom Wiley with the recap next in sports.